there are three factors that make innovation cluster like Silicon Valley particularly successful. If you look at businesses in Silicon Valley, on the surface it makes no sense that they are there. There's no Silicon Valley. There's no physical feature that makes it particularly attractive over other areas. In fact, the cost of doing business are among the highest on earth. Labor costs 2 to 3 times more than other parts of the US and several times more than other parts of the world. Office space also costs several times more. And yet, innovative companies keep coming here from all over the world. And for all the talk about outsourcing and delocalization, actually the share of innovation and the share of talent that Silicon Valley has been increasing, not declining. What is that is driving this? What's the competitive advantage of the area? And there are three forces that in the book I call forces of attraction that make this area particularly attractive if you are an innovative company or a talented high-tech worker. The first is the thickness of the labor market. Labor markets are good at matching very specialized workers with very specialized firms when they're very, very thick. So, for example, if you have very specialized skills in, say, software engineering, you are more likely to find an employer that will need those skills and will value those skills and will be willing to pay for those skills in a thick market than in a thin market. The same is true for an employer. If you have very specialized needs, you're more likely to find the specialized skills that you need in a thick market than in a thin market, which means that markets that have a lot of companies and a lot of workers looking for each other are more likely to generate productive matches that are more innovative and ultimately more successful. There's a growing body of evidence that suggests that identical individuals put in thin market have much less income growth, much less fast careers that are much less successful than individuals that are put in very thick market, like Silicon Valley or other innovation hubs, Seattle, Boston, Austin, Raleigh, even New York and DC. So that's the first advantage. The second advantage of markets of clusters is the presence of venture capital. Now, it seems hard to believe, but even today, venture capital is still remarkably localized and finances firms that are very localized. There is evidence that suggests that venture capitalists are more likely to finance projects that are driving distance from their office than identically valuable projects that are farther away. And the reason is that venture capitalists these days don't just cut a check and disappear. They often nurture and advise and monitor the firms that they're financing. And this nurturing and monitoring process can be at best achieved if you can meet face to face. The third crucial advantage of an innovation cluster is what I call the knowledge flows, is the fact that you really need to be close to where the action is. And this is one of the great paradoxes of our times. We live in an era that is hyper-connected, and we can communicate with our colleagues and with our friends at zero cost all the time, through the internet, by email, by Skype, by cell phones. And yet, in the world of innovation, face-to-face contact remains crucial. Creativity really flows, and it's generated by serendipitous encounters that we have in our daily life. It's hard to recreate those encounters by email or by Skype. So one of the great paradoxes of our times is that even if we are completely interconnected and we can communicate with every corner of the world at effectively zero cost, we're still heavily dependent on face-to-face interaction. And this is one of the key advantages that an innovation cluster provides, is physical proximity.